Hey guys, Dissimulator here, part 2 of my in-depth Lizardmen Army book review. This is the core units section, and before I started reviewing the individual core units, I just wanted to take a moment and bring up how freaking small our core section is. I mean, yeah, technically there's 4 different units there, but really there's three because there's not much difference between cohorts and skirmishers if the cohort doesn't have a Kroxigor. Um, it's really small. I mean, this is a picture of our Warhammer page, and there are 2 units. I know we're supposed to be an elite army, but if you look at Warriors of Chaos, they have 6. Plus, they're really customizable on 2 of them. Yeah, GW, get us some core cavalry or monsters or something. Just something other than Skinks and Saurus, please. Okay, anyway, if you didn't watch the first part of the video, quick review over my rating system. 5, if something gets a 5, it should be auto-include, pretty much. You better have a very specific army build in mind where you're not taking that. 4 is really good choices. Expect to see multiples of them in most Lizardmen lists. 3 is it's a good choice, but there's usually better choices out there, like some other unit that can perform the same role that scored a 4 or something. 2 is subpar, which doesn't necessarily mean bad. I want to make that clear. In the first part, I gave an Old Blood a 2. Old Bloods are clearly not bad, but it just means that they are either are actually bad, or they are vastly outclassed by other options, and the Old Blood is outclassed by the 60-point cheaper Scarvet. 2 could also mean that they're useful in some specific role, such as a Skink Chief on a Pterodon. I usually will have a plus symbol next to the ones where where they would have scored a 4, if I was looking at just that one specific situation, but I'm reviewing them as a whole, so I can't do that. And 1 is just don't take it. I mean, it's usable. There's nothing in the Lizardman Army book that is going to hurt you. Like, there's that one monster in Warriors of Chaos that might as well leave the points empty. But there's clearly better choices. It's just like, why, unless you're going for a themed list that needs those, don't take it. And one other thing, I apologize for the save movie file orange bar up here in the corner. My computer does something weird with that, and hopefully it is not too bothering, because there's no way to get rid of it, unfortunately. Okay, first unit, Saurus. This is the mainstay combat block of the Lizardman Army, and it's pretty dang good. Strength Toughness 4 on core is always a good thing. 2 attacks. I mean, that's really good. Scaly skin. They've got 4-up armor. That's also really good. Cold-blooded on Leadership 8 is obviously good. If you can't tell, I'm a fan of Saurus Warriors. I don't really play the Skink Cloud lists. Yeah, I think in all my years playing Lizardmen, when Saurus were within range of my Slann BSB, I think they've broken once. I mean, clearly if they totally lose combat and need double ones, they break, but if they have their full cold-blooded reroll, they don't break. It's like a 0.3% chance of them failing that. It's not going to happen. So those are all the good things. Strength 4, Toughness 4, 4-up armor, 2 attacks, impossible to break. Yeah, there's some bad things, though. They are 11 points each, which would be great if it was just that and that was the end of it. I mean, weapon skill 3 isn't the best, but it's fine when you're strength 4, who cares? They're a little bit priced for their other because of their other downsides, though, which is mainly that they're only initiative 1. That means they're going after skeletons, like literally reanimated dead bodies that have been dead for long enough to turn into just skeletons, are faster. The main difference between Initiative 1 and Initiative 2, because the only difference combat-wise is you're going to go simul with skeletons and ogres. And some dwarves, I think, are Initiative 2. That's it. You're not going to go... I don't think there's anything else. I'm probably horribly wrong on this, but everything else I can think of, like zombies are Initiative 1, have always strikes last. So you're not going to go before anything new, being Initiative 2. The only difference is Initiative 2 versus Initiative 1 is double the number of casualties from the purple sun and the like. I mean, not number of casualties, number of saved guys. You have a unit of 30 Saurus, and it gets hit with a purple sun, expect to have about 5. If you were Initiative 2, you'd have 10. That alone, just that 1 point of initiative, really hurts the Saurus. They're costed for elite infantry, and most of their stat line is elite infantry, but you take these guys into Chaos Warriors or Phoenix Guard or White Lions or Hammerers or something, and you're going to lose a lot of models before you even get to swing, because everything is going before you. Doesn't matter what. Skaven, slaves, goblins, orcs, it's all going before you. Unless it has a great weapon. So, I would have given these guys a 4, but that initiative thing, it's not enough to knock them all the way down to a 3, so I think this is the one unit in the army I did not know where to rank. So I gave them a 3.5. Yeah, they're great as long as you aren't fighting death magic. Then they're good. Next we have Skink Skirmishers, and Skink Cohorts, which are basically the same thing, because they fulfill the same role. They're great redirectors. They're really cheap. Cohorts are 5 points a model. Poisoned shooting is outstanding. It gets around a lot of the downsides that ballistic skill shooting has, of not normally being able to wound things, because it's only strength 3. With the new book, the big change is that they're no longer little crappy no armor guys. They've got 6-up armor, and I personally prefer javelins, so all my little Skink Skirmishers are running out with 5-up armor. I mean, that's unheard of in the 7th edition book. I mean, that's not bad armor. For most dedicated ranged units in like Empire books and stuff just have light armor. So at 6-up, I mean, they are toughness 2. That's the major con there. And then while they are cold-blooded, they are only leadership 5, so you can't really count on these guys to rally. Leadership 5 is about equivalent to 7 when you're not cold-blooded. I mean, that's average leadership, so you can't really count on them to rally a lot of times, so the double fleeing tactics and stuff are not as good. And then, really, the big con with cohorts is they're just not anywhere near as mobile. They need a 10-point musician to even be close to being as mobile, and then you've got a 60-point unit that doesn't have skirmishing versus a 70-point unit that does have skirmishing. And while skirmishing, it's only a -1 to hit, you also get the ability to shoot after you marched. So you can move these guys 12 inches and shoot, and when they only have 12-inch range on all of their weapons, that is a huge deal. I would have paid 2 points a model for skirmishing. Like, if you really look at it, cohorts are 5 points a model, skirmishers are 7 points a model. The only difference between the two, because you can give the one javelins and shields, is that cohorts don't have actions of blowpipes, and that Skink Skirmishers have skirmish. and don't have command options. So unless you're taking a big block of like 30 in bus formation to get cheap steadfast, there's no reason not to use skirmishers for chaff and redirectors and stuff. They're just much faster, much harder to kill, just much bigger threat range. Just always go with skirmishers if you're using them for chaff and redirectors. Everybody says that cohorts, oh yeah, they're cheaper, but even if you don't take the musician, they're not fast enough to be used as redirectors, and then you're saving, 20 points a unit? That's not that much. And then if you do take the musician, you're only saving 10 points a unit. So I would only ever take them for steadfast buses, and even then, you're usually better off going Saurus, because these guys are just going to use 15 models in combat and break. On their leadership 5. So, big winner, skirmishers, cohorts, not so much. The last unit is the mixed unit, Scrocs, as people tend to call them. These are not terrible on paper. I mean, if you look at it, it's just, oh yay, monstrous infantry with steadfast. That's great. I mean, monstrous infantry, they're strength 7. That's outstanding. But unfortunately, they have that stupid rule where the Kroxorks can be attacked over the Skinks now. So yeah, the Skinks are shooting protection, but then as soon as they get in combat, they're going to send anything that hits hard enough to kill Kroxors against Kroxors, and anything that's not are just going to kill the Skinks and win by combat res, because they just killed like 20 Skinks or whatever, and then break the unit and run them down. As a combat block, Saurus are better, because, I mean, they're not strength 7, so against high armored targets, Saurus are better. I mean, Kroxors are better, but you're not going to lose anywhere near as much combat res using Saurus, and I'd rather have the 20 strength 4 attacks than these 9 strength 7 for one round before they break combat. I mean, a lot of people really like their Scrocs. They're good for keeping up with fast armies as a combat block, because they are movement 6 as opposed to the Saurus's movement 4. But I would take Saurus over these any day of the week. There's no real reason I have to use Scrocs as opposed to Saurus. Okay, a quick review of my overall rankings of core units. I think our best core is definitely Skink Skirmishers. I'd almost consider 1 or 2 units of 10 mandatory for any Lizardmen list, because they're our best redirectors by far. Between doing a couple redirecting units and then just going Skink Cloud and running like 9 of them to fill up your entire core, I don't really see the use of them, because unless you go full out just Skink Skirmishers, they don't have enough output in shots to really do that much in between there. As a couple redirecting units might plank off a round or 2, but like 4 units of Skinks isn't going to do that much more than 2, and it's not going to do anywhere near as much as 9. So I would stick with 2 unless you're going Skink heavy. And then I really like Saurus for a core choice. That's definitely our best combat core. Cohorts, typo there. They're good as really cheap chaff, I guess. I still think skirmishers are much, 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 much better. The only time I ever put cohort in a list is if I'm trying to bunker like Teto Echo. That's about it. And Scrocs I have never put in a Lizardmen list in 8th edition. I did in 7th edition because you couldn't attack the Kroxigors, and you could just load up on Skinks and run them into high armor targets and smash them with your greatswords and laugh. But now that you can target them, they're just going to get hit back. So I would not take Scrocs. Next time we look at our huge special section, like vastly huge compared to our core.